Hey everybody, today we're going to be reviewing Tibetan Musk Pure Parfum by Ensar Oud. I was given a free sample of this plus a couple of others when I purchased two 3ml pure oud oils that I wanted to blend with. I bought some Indian oud from them and I actually requested some samples and I would review them. So here we are. This is a full review of Tibetan Musk. This one, I'm going to read you, wow. Okay, so let me read you the notes. So this one's quite unique, I would say. The musk pods used in this belong to a sheikh from, I can't pronounce it, apologies, I'll put the name on the screen. It's from a sultan from a particular palace. Can't pronounce the name and I don't want to mispronounce it, so I'll put it on the screen for you. He seems to have contacts in kind of royal families and palaces and places in the Middle East, and yeah, it reads that Ensar hadn't realised until after cutting up these musk pods, he was gifted some very old musk pods, and he knew that they had a royal connection but wasn't quite sure who they came from, and he tinctured them, cut them open, tinctured them, and then found out afterwards that these are potentially hundreds of years old, not just like one generation, but like possibly multiple generations. He's not sure how old they are, but they could have been handed down like sultan to sultan, so to speak. The sultans kind of store a lot of them and they rub them in the beard to literally just take a musk pod and rub it in the beard. Apparently that's what they do. The one that Ensar got was so old that the hair was like disintegrating, and I think he said when he cut it open there was like fungus or mold that had like literally fossilized on the inside. So that's kind of how old we're talking. And this is Tibetan musk rather than Siberian musk. So it writes that wild Siberian musk has a urinal, pissy kind of smell, very animalic. However, Tibetan musk is chocolatey and truffle-like with hints of toffee. So it's a sweeter musk. It doesn't have the pissy kind of animalistic nuances that Siberian musk has. So the notes that I found on the official website for this are basically an unknown aged royal sultan musk, so to speak, with a fossilised amber note, black currant, frankincense and lavender. When I smell it initially, it's pretty good smelling. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it smells pretty good. It's got this huge musky quality, but like the description says, it's not pissy, it's not animalic, it's not funky, it's not dirty, it's none of that. It's very smooth, but you clearly smell like musk, like in huge amount. I do get a little bit of the black currant and it comes across kind of a little bit watery, almost like, I can imagine almost like a black currant syrup or something that's a bit more watery. I think that you get the lavender, and especially after kind of 10 minutes, you start to get this kind of herbal, beautiful green herbal lavender note coming through, quite aromatic, a little bit almost spicy. The other nuance, I do think you get a little bit of frankincense, and it gives you this kind of almost fresh kind of, slightly incensey, fresh kind of note. Again, kind of almost spiced, kind of fresh in a way, but again, over kind of the whole thing is just musk enveloping it all. After about 4 hours on my skin, there's almost little change with this. I found it's very slow in a progression, but after about 4 hours, I did wonder if there was other florals in here. I couldn't find any official kind of florals listed, but there's something in here that smells a little bit floral, petal, sweet, but clean, almost soapy clean. It reminded me of actual kind of almost light floral soap kind of accord. It's got this very, like I say, clean floral kind of vibe, but I've no clue if there are florals in here or not, but that's the kind of impression that you get when you smell it as it starts to dry down. It's mentioned that the musk note smells of truffle, and I can't reference that because I've never smelled truffle. I've no idea what it smells like. As it starts to dry down further from the 4 hour mark, I feel like it becomes subtly powdery, and it's very beautiful. It's subtly sweet, but not too sweet. And I struggle to describe the sweetness, to be honest. But it's this lovely kind of sweet. Again, I'm struggling to describe it. In what aspect is it sweet? I don't quite get. I'm not sure I quite get toffee or chocolate even. How it's described in the notes. Maybe kind of a little bit. Maybe a little bit slightly tonkery. Maybe, I'm not quite sure. But it's very beautiful. It's very smooth. It's interesting. But when I go back to the floral kind of aspect, if there are florals in here, again, I don't know if there are or not, but there's no indolic kind of vibes. Again, it's not dirty in any way at all. If there are florals, they're very clean, soapy, floral kind of vibe. And yeah, it takes on this subtly powdered kind of soft, delicate quality, musky, warm, a little bit sweet. It's quite comforting and soothing almost. And it goes on like that for like 9 hours, and I don't really pick out much changes that I can detect. After about 9 hours or so, I start to get a little bit of that kind of fossilized amber note, and you do get kind of an ambery kind of feeling along with the musk. And so you get this, like, again, ambery kind of smooth amber-like base with this, again, beautiful, silky, smooth musk that's just ever so slightly sweet. And you get that, and it goes on like that again for a few more hours, and you're getting like 12 plus hours. And that's the only way I can describe it. It's kind of very unique because I can't compare it to other things, to be honest. I don't know what I could compare it to. I've never smelled anything quite like it. The musk note is very beautiful. Again, not pissy, very clean, very wearable. Just enough sweetness to make it quite enjoyable, and again, smooth and cozy and warm. I don't know if he's put sandalwood in here, it's not listed, but you get a kind of a very smooth, creamy, kind of almost woody quality as it dries down. It might not be in there, I don't know. Possibly there might be some ambergris, probably. But it just lends itself to this huge, musky, smooth, very difficult to pick out notes from it, to be quite honest. I really struggle to pull out specific notes. It's very harmonious. The main kind of player does seem to be the musk itself. In terms of pricing for this, 15ml, $349, 30ml, $599, and a 50ml, $999. So $1,000 for the 50ml, $600 for the 30 essentially. For lovers of deer musk, I would think that, you know, get a sample or the small size maybe. I think if you like deer musk, then I can't see why you wouldn't like this. You will basically smell of deer musk for 12 solid hours, constantly for 12 hours, with just kind of these lovely nuances of other things. But like the name says, Tibetan musk, it's a huge, massive musk note. And you get that from start to finish, from the first spray to 12 hours plus. So in terms of longevity, to go over longevity and projection and performance, I think over 12 hours easily. Just over 12 hours, you kind of lose count after that, you know, don't count after 12, but over 12 hours, projection and sillage, I think, was modest. It's not huge on my skin. It does sit a little bit closer, but it leaves this soft kind of intimate bubble around you. I think if you over applied it a little bit, it probably would project more, but I'm a bit cautious myself. I don't over apply. If you did, it probably would lift off your skin quite well. I think that's the natural essence of musk, that it does kind of float around. But I spray fairly lightly. I'm a bit tame in terms of spraying, so for me it did sit you know, within my own space. But you don't go anosmic to it. I can smell it for literally 12 hours, and if you just put a little bit on your hand, you don't need much. It's very strong. Like I say, you'll smell it for the whole day. So amazing performance. I think deer musk is one of the best natural fixatives that you could ever use in perfume. The only thing for some people is that it might come across even a little bit simple, so to speak, because it's very difficult, like I say, to pull out individual notes. I get huge musk, little dabbles of other things, very hard to dissect what else is in there, very difficult, so it actually might come across as something quite simple. But if you like musk, I think you'll love it, to be honest. Personally, I wouldn't buy a bottle for myself, partly because I can't afford it. It's out of my budget personally. The other thing is I don't eat meat, I'm a vegetarian, so it wouldn't make sense for me to use Deer Musk on myself. I'm quite happy to review it and test it as a sample, but I wouldn't buy a bottle, so to speak, on a personal basis. Obviously, if you're vegetarian or vegan, this will not be for you, because it's sourced from an animal. However, you know, a lot of people love that kind of stuff, and if you do like Deer Musk, that'll be one you want to check out. Hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed wearing it. I thought it was very beautiful. I think this kind of powdery quality it has as it dries down is lovely. And like I said, just the right amount of sweetness, and it's an unusual sweetness. It's not something that I can quite pinpoint. I'm presuming it is the natural facet of the musk itself, because Ensar described it as kind of toffee, caramel, kind of vibes to the musk, chocolatey kind of thing. I don't quite know how to describe it myself, but it's, like I say, an unusual sweetness that is quite addictive and makes it very, very enjoyable and very nice. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you again with another one. Take care of yourselves. Bye.
One time he disappeared for 2 or 3 days. When he came back, they asked him where he'd been, and he said, "Oh, just sailing."